For this video, I'm doing something that I rarely do, which is film myself working, and it's mostly because I'm blind, I don't wear my glasses, and I like to hold my hand closer to my face, and thus not in the camera, so here we go. As of late, I found it easier to work on top of a pre-built set, and I'm currently pushing myself to see how long I can fill a set before it starts to lose its shape. However, when I filmed this, I filmed it all the way back in March, so as of late, I've been wearing very short nails because it's easier to type. It's also easier to it's easier to kind of life with the shorter nails. But I digress. So here I'm actually taking a 5-in-1 fine carbide bit that I bought from Wilson's AliExpress store. However, and I hate to politicize this, but this is the climate we live in now. Thanks to the upcoming tariff situation, I've had to link their US eBay store below. But their US eBay store is kind of more like a warehouse and less it houses less of their more new and innovative products. So it just kind of houses all their old stuff. So what I used to do was I used to be able to get these bits straight from their warehouse in China via AliExpress. So they'd have, new diamond bits, new 5-in-1s. I think actually they were the first company to come out with 5-in-1s, and then every 5-in-1 you see after is actually made by them, or they hold some sort of patent for it. And then if you see one from like U.S. nail company, obviously the U.S. nail company is not CNCing bits in their warehouse in the United States. They're getting them still screened from directly from China. So the prices of all this stuff is about to just go up and way high up through the roof. But yeah. So as Erica does say, with carbide bits, speed is your friend. And I ran this at almost 20K because I only want to pull off the color and not take down product. And I do take a little bit of the length. And it's usually by as much as the nail grew out. I know some people like to just keep letting the length grow, add on and on and on, but I found I really couldn't do that with this set. But I try to use the e-file to do as much of the work for me because it runs faster than my wrist. And this is not really the ideal bit to attempt to shape the nails with. The teeth did indeed catch in my nail when I went to shape the edges, but I wasn't trying to change out the bit because I have to do two hands. So I do normally use a crosscut for shaping the free edge, but I also do in videos like to show me doing my opposite hand just to prove that it is indeed possible. I just generally change the angle of filing to point towards my face so that I don't have to kind of use like like when you're peeling fruit, I don't have to use that motion. I mean, you can, but it's not. I'm not a fan of it. But I'm close enough to my dust collector so that the dust collector will pick it up. After all that filing, I used the preppy bit to start doing my cuticle work, and I've actually stopped using this bit. Um, I've never paid $40 for this bit. I've paid a very, very low amount for this bit, and I actually do have some for sale on eBay. New in box, mind you. But I've actually stopped using this bit, and I use some diamond bits that I purchased straight from Erica's or Stalex. I got them via Fox Nails USA. They ship from Ukraine and to the United States, a warehouse in Texas, in the United States, and then they ship it to you. With the tariff situation, I don't know how that's going to change. I assume prices will, of course, go up. But again, I stopped using this bit, and I use diamond bits that are just much better on my nail. I found that I need to do less filing, and I get very similar adhesion, if not better. It also is able to, and I am using a diamond bit here, but it's also able to prep my cuticle area, and I don't have to cut it. And I've stopped doing that for the most part. I've also haven't used a sanding bed in months because the diamond bits are, and I think Erica guarantees hers for like what 100 to 150 services. And so you see here I'm using a sanding band, but I haven't used a sanding band to prep my nails in months. And this was actually filmed in March. So what I do use when I finish all the cuticle work, what I do use is I actually use a bit from McCart. Believe it or not, it's a diamond bit. It's $6 on Amazon, and it's a tapered diamond bit, so it kind of looks like a 5-in-1, but it's just got diamond on the outside. I know Erica has one, but I've just kind of been holding on to that one mostly for the tire situation. But I found the McCart one actually works quite well. Um, keep good speed, and you could actually prep the entire nail with it without having to do all the cuticle work. But when I'm done with all the buffing, I do dehydrate the nails as well as all the skin around it with the gel cleanser mixture that's 100% acetone mixed with 99.9% technical alcohol that you can get from Amazon. Since the pandemic, I think the prices have gone down on alcohol. I already had some that I bought before everything went crazy, so I haven't had to buy any for a while. But make sure that you're using pure alcohol and make sure you're using pure acetone in your mixture. So one thing is, I'm a woman of color. This is going to make me look super ashy, as you can see. But the idea is that there is no oils on my nail plate and there's no oils on the skin around the nail plate to make sure that my stuff actually stays. So now I do my acid primer, and then I do 2 coats of air bond with 2 coats of tack. Now the reason I do 2 coats of tack is because when you cure tack, it starts to pull away a bit from the edges, and then I just do a second coat to make sure that the whole nail is encased. Because I had never seen that until I actually looked real close at my nails, and I'm like, hold on, I scrubbed it real well in that cuticle area, but when I cured it, it pulled away from it. So I just do the second coat just to make sure that in my cuticle area there's no lifting. I don't want to see any after I've done all this hard work. Alright, so the gel decanted in this pot is actually Light Elegance's Cashmere. The color is more covering for people with my skin tone, but as I type this, I got a gray color from Fuzion called SL Neutral. And then I got one from Jet Set Beauty called Satin Taupe and Mocha Mousse. And I found them to be significantly more favorable to my skin tone as opposed to this brownie pink. Even cover pink is a little more favorable to my skin tone. So Cashmere's kind of taken a back seat. But I do like those much better, and I will be posting an upcoming video of my haul from Jet Set Beauty. And again, with its upcoming tariff situation, prices may be higher than what I said in the video. So when I do a fill, and that's exactly what I'm doing here, what I like to do is I like to put down a full base layer that I cure. And I do this, I know some people can just go straight into it right over tack, but I do this so that I have a fully cured layer of gel that is on my fingers that I know is going to be 100% cured. So that if there's any, surface breakdown or any miscuring, I at least know that that thin layer is cured and will protect me. It seems to have been protecting me all these years. I don't have an allergy. I thought I did. It actually wasn't it. But I did go to an allergist and everything. But that's my method, and it's worked for me so far. So now, when I do a fill, I do that little base layer. Then I go and I take and I just get gel on the finger. The idea is not really to make it look perfect, make it look neat. That would be helpful, but I have a dust collector and I have an e-file, so I am not here to get it 100% perfect. The idea is to just get the gel on the finger. Okay, like if you're flying a plane and you have problems, the idea is to get the plane down. And instead of leaving a harsh edge, like I could because I am using the e-file, what I'd like to do is I just like to blend it out. It makes it a little easier to file, it makes it a little bit easier to see. I will also admit that I'm no longer a fan of this viscosity. There was a time in my life where I thought that extreme was very runny, and those times have kind of passed. I started using Fuzion's SL series, and this is primarily because Give Your Nails Hope was going out of business. Very sad, but she had a lot of SL gels that were on sale, and I grabbed a lot. And I really like the viscosity because it lets you grab a bunch of gel, throw it on the nail, get it right in place, cure, keep going. It's very fast to fill. It takes less than, I would say, if you're just doing an overlay, it takes less than 15 minutes to just throw the product on the nail, get it done, and then file as you need to. So now this little flash curing I'm doing, one thing I'm going to say is I will never do that again. I think flash curing should be something that's restricted only to art. I don't ever think it should be restricted to this because, and I'm going to admit this is my first time really flash curing sets like this, and I don't think it really works with color gels like this. I think it works more with clear gels, and that's where I've had the most success with flash curing like this. So what I do now is that instead of doing the work on top of my dust collector, I will actually have my lamp next to me, and then I will flash cure 10 seconds in the lamp as opposed to flash cure with a portable lamp like this. So I will never do that again. I found it burned significantly more. But here, I'm going with the e-file. So I'm using the same bit that I removed product with. I use it around 15, sometimes 20, and I go around the cuticle area to smooth it out. Obviously, no pressure. As you can see, I'm not being sliced by it. Once I show you the finished product, you see I'm not cut up. I'm not bleeding. But what you see me doing here is that you see me awkwardly bending my thumb. It's pointed out toward the camera, but I'm looking down the barrel so that I can make sure that I have the correct shape. And so imagine doing this with your hand file. Really imagine doing this with your hand file. Your wrist would be burning. And you see how quickly I can just go right across the surface? I've cleaned the cuticle. The nail looks very nice. Going across the surface, making sure that everything is nice, smooth, and even. And then here, on the middle finger, same thing. I'm looking in the barrel. I'm doing this right here with the e-file. The dust collector's picking up all the dust. My wrist is not hurting. The e-file's doing all the work for me. And it takes almost no time at all just to go through a whole hand. So I will still go in with the file, and you'll see here me going with the file, like a hand file, just to sharpen things up. And I also will go in with an undernail cleaner bit. This is personal preference, but I don't like to see my natural nail underneath the enhancement. I would go a little more ham, but I decided not to. Because when I was doing this, the nails were kind of thin. So after I did complete the set, I did go back and I did completely remove the natural nail. It's just a personal preference. Some people like to see their natural nail back there. I don't. It tends to lift. It tends to disconnect. Those people who do like to see it, they're adepts at using their cuticle oil. I am not. I try to use it every night nowadays. But again, the operative word is try. So when I use the undernail cleaner bit, I take it up at a very high speed. What I try to do is I try to shape the nail as well from underneath. You'll see a lot of Russian nail artists, Russian and Eastern nail artists do this, where they they kind of shape the nails from the bottom, get off all the excess product, especially when using dual forms. I do this because if you can see my middle finger, or next to my index finger, which I'm currently doing, there's some top coat on the bottom. I always top coat underneath my nails so that these filing marks don't get dirt caught in them. I can just easily wipe underneath. Obviously, with short nails, you can't really do that, but with longer nails, I always top coat underneath my nail just to seal that product in. I make sure, obviously, not to touch skin, but it just gives it a nicer, cleaner look, even with this. And if you want to, you can even paint the other side. So I'm not going to ham when I'm doing this, mostly because the fill was just completed, so the nails are still thin, and they're going to stay thin because because I did put something on top. Again, this is filled in March, and this is the final result. So, for obvious reasons, I didn't leave the set plain. The overall result is quickly filled and filed nails ready for design, and they're thinner because there's something going on top, which is what I've been doing with these sets. This is the third fill, actually. So what was the finished look? I had to actually go look up and go back in my photos and go find the finished look. And it is going to be coming up in a moment. They were nice and pointy. I wore them for 5 weeks. This is the finished look. I used Fusion's FX top coat I used Aurora, and I used a matte FX top coat first, so that I would have something that my Aurora FX top coat could stick to. Now, the FX top coats can be chromed, and so I used WT01 from HNDO, or Feishi store, from AliExpress, and that's what I used to do the chrome. Then I added some crystals, and that was that, and I wore it for 5 weeks. Either way, that's the finished look. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.